All right, we're going to be talking about the one mistake that everybody, and I mean everybody, makes when it comes to regripping golf clubs. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, what is this one thing that everybody, and I mean everybody, from amateurs to elite level players to the grip manufacturers, everybody seems to get this wrong? What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about grip sizing, and specifically, it's the idea, and if you've played golf long enough, I'm sure you've experimented with it, or it may be on your clubs right now, the idea that you can change the size of your grip by adding extra layers of tape underneath that grip. Now, the conventional wisdom here is if I've got, say, a standard size grip and I want to make that grip into a mid-size grip, I'm going to add between, say, 3 and 4 extra layers of tape underneath that grip before I install it, and that's going to give me essentially the equivalent of a mid-size grip. Oh yeah, also, if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you go down below, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. And if you've got ideas, if there is a concept, if there's an experiment that you'd like to see me do, let me know down in the comments. So this experiment has 3 parts. Part 1, we're going to take the most popular grip in the game of golf, Golf Pride Tour Velvet, standard size, 0.600 inner diameter. We're going to install that on a standard 600 diameter shaft, and we're going to measure what the diameter of that grip is. 2, we're going to take the exact same grip, the Golf Pride Tour Velvet, in a mid-size, and we're going to repeat the process and get that measurement. Finally, we're going to go back to the standard size, and we're going to try and build it up using those conventional rules when it comes to building up grips and seeing, can we turn that standard size grip into the mid-size thickness. All right, I've got my smartphone set up right here so you can see exactly what I'm doing when I'm measuring. So we're going to switch over to that and put this standard size Golf Pride Tour Velvet grip on. All right, this grip all the way on. Notice I put just a little piece of tape right here just to make sure that I'm not overstretching or understretching these grips as I install them. So we're going to, every single time, make sure that this grip basically butts up against that little piece of tape right there. Now, when we're measuring golf grips for diameter, what we want to measure is, or where we want to measure, is 2 inches down from the very butt end of the grip. So we're going to go down 2 inches using this ruler. I've got my calipers right here that are currently zeroed out. And we're going to see at 2 inches down what the measurement is on this standard grip with just one piece of masking tape underneath it. Because we're using compressed air, we're using masking tape and not double-sided tape, but we're going to use that throughout the entire test. So there's our 2 inches. Let's make sure it's on here the right size. Kind of go back and forth once or twice to make sure the diameter looks about right. And what we get there is 0.898 inches. So 0.9 inches, which tells us it's standard. That is essentially what you should see if you put a standard grip on a standard shaft. All right, let's take this grip off. And now we're going to switch it for the mid-size, exact same Tour Velvet grip. Whoops, a little too much pressure. There we go. All right, wiggle the end, it's on all the way. We can see on this side, we're just right up against the tape, so we know that the length is the same as before. Take a measurement. Let's see what we got. And what we got this time is 0.958. We're going to go ahead and round that up just like last time to 0.960. 0.960, that means it is 0.06 larger than it was in the beginning, And as a fraction, that means we are, well, 3/50ths or essentially 1/16th larger than standard. And again, depending on the manufacturer, sometimes they will say 1/32nd, sometimes they will say 1/16th is midsize. In this case, 1/16th over is the midsize. So now we're going to take that standard grip and we're going to start building it up and seeing if we can get from 0.90 up to 0.96. So we're going to go ahead and give it a full 4 extra wraps of masking tape underneath that grip to try and bump it up, because that is sort of the conventional wisdom of what should get us to that mid-size grip, and we'll see what we get. And again, this is masking. Now I know I said 4, but we're actually going to go ahead and do 5. Now let's go ahead and put our standard Tour Velvet, again, standard Tour Velvet, back on. All right, give it a wiggle. As you can see, it's all the way on that end. Again, it's all the way up to the tape here, so we know it's the exact same stretch as it has been on the previous two. Let's get our calipers back out, see what we get. Build up, again, back to our 2-inch measuring point. All right, and what we get after all that extra tape on there, hopefully you can see that right there. Guess what? We've gone up from 0.9, or where we were originally at just under 0.9, to, well, if we round up, 0.91. So 5 layers of masking tape, which is probably the equivalent of 3 full layers of double-sided tape. That is, again, conventional wisdom says that should get us from standard to mid-size or something close to that. And we got 0.01, 1/100th larger than we started with. Now, why is this happening? Well, just look at this rubber band. If we take this rubber band when it is not stretched in any way, it's about a 1/4 of an inch thick, right, from here to here. What happens if I start stretching it out? Gets thinner, gets thinner, gets thinner. All of a sudden, that 1/4 inch is becoming closer to 1/8 of an inch. Guess what? These grips are doing the same thing. You can't add or subtract material from them. They are what they are. And so if you are building up that shaft, that grip now has to stretch out more in order to fit over the shaft, and it's getting thinner. So even though we're building up what's underneath it, the grip itself is thinning out, and it's essentially a wash. We're not actually increasing anything. Now we are increasing the firmness of the grip. That is happening. The biggest change you are going to notice here is not the size, it's the fact that this Tour Velvet grip is now going to feel much firmer in your hands because it's much thinner as far as that layer of rubber goes. But when it comes to the actual size, guess what? Didn't really change anything. Okay. Again, 2 inches down with 10 layers of build-up tape. And we got up to, hey, look at that. 10 layers of build-up tape. We got it up to 0.94. All right, so if you use 10 layers of masking tape to build up that grip, well, we got it up to 0.04 bigger. That is the equivalent of 1/25th over standard. So we still didn't get to mid-size. We still didn't hit that 1/16th number. In fact, we're still not even close to it, but we did get closer. That being said, it's really difficult to get a golf grip onto a shaft once it has 10 layers of build-up tape on it. So I'd probably just not recommend that. Every time I do a build, every time I do a repair, I ask the person, do you want extra layers of tape under the grip? You know, I don't get into all of this. I just know from doing this for a long time that golfers are going to have their preference. And if they have always played with one extra wrap or two extra wraps, they're going to want two extra wraps. They are going to, at least in their head, believe that they can tell the difference with those two extra wraps. But hopefully what you've seen from this video is if you are interested in playing or experimenting with different grip sizes, extra layers of build-up tape under the grip is an incredibly inefficient means of getting a change in that diameter. In fact, it's almost useless unless you go all the way to the extreme like we did here and put 10 extra layers of tape, which again is a bad idea. All right, the moral of the story is here, if you need bigger grips, if you want to try bigger grips, well, you just need to buy bigger grips. Buy that mid-size grip, buy that jumbo grip, and put those on, because if you're trying to take that standard grip and move it to one of those bigger sizes, good luck. And if you're just trying to take that standard size and get somewhere in between standard and mid-size, well, guess what? Once again, it's going to be more in your head than it is in your hands.